Why Marcus Aurelius warned against chasing women. A modern Stoic's guide to self-control. A phrase that, at first glance, might seem surprising or even controversial. Yet when we delve into the rich tapestry of Stoic philosophy and the timeless wisdom that Marcus Aurelius left behind in his meditations, we begin to understand a deeper truth that transcends. In this comprehensive video, we will explore the profound reasons why Marcus Aurelius' guidance resonates today, examine the foundational principles of Stoicism that inform his stance, and translate these ancient lessons into practical tools for modern life. Think of this journey as a thoughtful conversation, one that respects both the venerable legacy of Aurelius and the evolving complexities of the modern dating scene. We will unpack the Stoic emphasis on self-control, the moral dimensions of desire, and the importance of internal validation over external pursuit, all while answering the pressing questions that so many of us face in our contemporary world. Why do some people feel compelled to chase constantly? What does it say about one's character when validation is sought through endless external pursuits? And how can one cultivate a sense of inner peace and authentic connection without falling into the trap of desperation? By the end of this video, not only will you have a richer understanding of Stoic principles, but you will also possess actionable steps gleaned from the core teachings of Marcus Aurelius and supported by modern psychological research to guide your daily interactions, relationships, and personal development, ultimately leading to a more meaningful, self-assured, and virtue-driven. To understand Marcus Aurelius' perspective on not chasing women, or more broadly, not chasing anything external that disrupts one's equilibrium, we must start with the fundamentals of Stoicism. Stoicism, as a school of philosophy founded in ancient Greece and developed through Roman thinkers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius himself, teaches that virtue is the highest good and that inner character far outweighs fleeting external gains. At the heart of Stoicism lies a commitment to reason, moral integrity, and self-mastery. For the Stoics, life's value is determined not by how many people you impress, how many lovers you ensnare, or how much material wealth you accumulate, but rather by how well you align with virtue and rational principles. Marcus Aurelius, as the Emperor of Rome, was undoubtedly familiar with the allure of admiration and power. He had, at his disposal, every conceivable means of satisfying desires or chasing superficial pleasures. Yet his meditations reveal a man keenly aware that such pursuits often undermine true happiness and inner peace. In the Stoic tradition, attachments that hinge upon others' approval or constant pursuit erode our internal stability. If we hinge our self-worth on whether or not someone reciprocates our affections or validates our desirability, we surrender control of our emotions and well-being. Marcus Aurelius' subtle warning against chasing women, therefore, is not a misogynistic stance, but a profound ethical and psychological insight. Any form of relentless pursuit, be it of a romantic partner, material wealth, or public acclaim, enslaves us to external conditions, stripping us of our autonomy and moral ground. Understanding Aurelius' perspective is easier when we consider how Stoicism frames human desires. The Stoics classify externals, anything not entirely within our control, as indifference. These might include wealth, social status, career success, and yes, romantic attraction. While some of these indifferent items can be preferred, the key is never to attach one's sense of worth to them. Love and companionship certainly have their place in life, but from a Stoic viewpoint, clinging, chasing, or desperately yearning for them only leads to inner turmoil. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly emphasizes this point. It is not that relationships or affection are inherently wrong, but that making them the cornerstone of one's identity and happiness leads to instability. When you chase, you are essentially saying, "My happiness depends on you wanting me," and that is a perilous bargain. Instead, The Stoic approach encourages you to cultivate a mindset of self-reliance and emotional resilience. By choosing not to chase, you stand grounded in your values, guided by reason rather than impulse, and remain open to authentic, meaningful connections that arise naturally rather than forcing them through constant pursuit. This Stoic framework is invaluable today. In modern dating culture, where swiping, ghosting, and superficial judgments are common, the temptation to chase is ever present. Many find themselves locked in cycles of pursuit, messaging repeatedly without reply, overanalyzing every interaction, feeling deflated by each rejection. This behavior betrays a lack of self-control and self-esteem, often driven by the fear of being alone, the insecurity of not measuring up, or the mistaken belief that relentless pursuit proves one's worth. But as modern psychology and relationship studies confirm, such chasing often has the opposite effect, undermining confidence and pushing others away. When you repeatedly chase, you signal neediness rather than strength, desperation rather than calm self-assurance. Studies published by psychological associations have shown that individuals who rely excessively on external validation tend to have higher stress levels, lower self-esteem, and poorer long-term relationship outcomes. Conversely, those who focus on building inner resilience and clarity of purpose often find that they naturally attract more meaningful connections. By resonating deeply with Stoic teachings, we learn that happiness and fulfillment flourish when we remove the conditions we place on our self-worth. Conditions like needing another's approval, attention, or romantic interest. In considering Marcus Aurelius' guidance, let's emphasize the shift from external validation to internal virtue. Instead of measuring yourself against how many people reciprocate your interest, the Stoic lens encourages introspection. Are you a person of integrity and compassion? Are you striving to align actions with values rather than obsessing over external metrics of success or desirability? Stoicism advises that we invest our energy into becoming wiser, kinder, and more patient individuals. When you focus on personal growth, improving your career skills, refining your intellectual pursuits, engaging in creative hobbies, contributing positively to your community, you cultivate a genuine sense of self-worth that does not hinge on romantic conquests. Moreover, by turning inward and examining your character, you naturally develop qualities that make you more appealing to others. Confidence, calmness, emotional stability, and authentic communication. This shift does not happen overnight. It requires deliberate practice and a willingness to re-examine long-held beliefs about self-esteem and romance. Yet, as modern Stoic practitioners like Ryan Holiday and philosophers, such as Massimo Pigliucci, often highlight, these principles are profoundly liberating. They free you from the exhausting roller coaster of chasing and allow you to encounter potential partners from a place of wholeness rather than emptiness. To integrate these Stoic teachings into the fabric of your modern dating life, consider practical steps that help reprogram your mindset. First, recognize when you're succumbing to impulse. If you feel the urge to send yet another unreturned message, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what am I hoping to achieve? Am I trying to fill a gap in my self-esteem by extracting validation from this person? If so, this is a sign to return to Stoic fundamentals. Try journaling as Marcus Aurelius did. In your journal, explore your emotions, identify insecurities, and remind yourself that your worth does not depend on another's response. Engage in the Stoic practice of negative visualization. Imagine life without the constant need to impress others, how serene and free that might feel. Cultivate gratitude for who you are and what you have, independent of romantic validation. This exercise aligns closely with modern therapeutic approaches, such as cognitive behavioral techniques, which show that reframing thoughts can significantly reduce anxiety and increase self-assurance. Another approach is to clarify your core values and let them guide your decisions. If you value honesty, integrity, and kindness, then ensure that your actions in the dating world reflect these virtues. Instead of following the crowd and into superficial chase culture, act in ways that honor your character. If a situation feels demeaning or desperate, step back. The goal is not to harden your heart or shy away from relationships altogether, but to approach them from a place of strength, clarity, and sincerity. Trust that a connection founded on mutual respect and shared values is far more nourishing than one born from frantic pursuit. In many cases, people who refrain from chasing and who focus instead on personal development find that others notice their calm confidence. When you are at peace with yourself, you emit a presence that is subtly magnetic. Ironically, by not chasing, you often become more attractive to those around you. This paradox underscores the importance of internal growth. When you cease grasping, you free yourself to be genuinely seen and appreciated. It is also beneficial to understand the cultural shifts in modern dating. In a world of dating apps and social media, many experience a sense of constant anxiety. Will I find the one? Am I doing enough? Should I be more aggressive in pursuing this person? Stoic principles cut through this clutter by reminding us that, while technology and social norms evolve, human nature remains much the same. We are social creatures who yearn for connection, but genuine bonds cannot be forced. Marcus Aurelius would likely advise detachment from the frenetic pace of modern courtship rituals, urging us to maintain perspective. If a romantic interest is not reciprocating effort, let them go with grace rather than chasing. This does not mean walling off emotions or ignoring opportunities. It simply means approaching every interaction with composure and discernment. When we consider modern evidence and expert opinions, the Stoic stance gains further credibility. Relationship counselors and psychologists often stress the importance of establishing healthy boundaries and maintaining self-respect in romantic engagements. Studies show that people who set boundaries and respect their own emotional well-being are more likely to develop stable, long-lasting relationships. Chasing, on the other hand, is often associated with codependent patterns, where individuals rely heavily on others to feel whole. This dynamic sets the stage for imbalance and unhappiness. By applying Aurelius' wisdom and reinforcing Stoic principles, you cultivate emotional strength and resilience, reduce anxiety, and open the door to more stable, nourishing relationships. Emotional resilience is a cornerstone of Stoicism and translates directly into modern psychological well-being. People who practice emotional regulation techniques find it easier to navigate romantic challenges without collapsing into turmoil. The Stoic approach also encourages patience. Instead of rushing into relationships or panicking when things do not move at your desired pace, you trust the unfolding of events and stay anchored to your principles. This patience can lead to better decisions and more authentic connections. Consider negative visualization and the dichotomy of control. Negative visualization helps you appreciate what you have and become comfortable with impermanence. Apply it to dating. Envision not receiving messages back, not securing that date, and realize you remain intact. Over time, this reduces the fear of rejection. The dichotomy of control reminds you that some things are within your control. Your actions, values, judgments, and others are not, including another person's feelings. By focusing on what is within your power, you liberate yourself from fruitless chasing. Stoicism's emphasis on reason helps combat emotional impulsivity. Before sending another text or making a desperate move, ask, is this rational? Aligned with my values? History shows that the Stoics were not advocates of emotional suppression or loveless existence. Rather, they advised measured engagement with the world. Love, friendships, and connections were preferred indifference, valuable but not essential to moral worth. By reducing frantic chasing, you preserve dignity and become more discerning about whom you invite into your life. When love does enter, it finds you standing on solid ground. Think of it as a long-term investment strategy for your emotional life. Instead of short-term gains, fleeting attention, or quick dates, You invest in resilience, virtue, clarity, and self-knowledge. These assets compound over time, leading to stable, rewarding bonds. Chasing often leads to superficial encounters and heartbreak, while embracing Stoic principles fosters depth and authenticity. Stoicism does not imply avoiding love. It enriches its quality by insisting on authenticity and moral grounding. When you stop trying to impress and simply live your virtues, genuine connections emerge. From a psychological perspective, aligning with Stoic principles improves mental health. Reducing dependency on external validation lowers anxiety and stress. Without hinging your happiness on another's affection, you exist in greater peace. This emotional stability benefits not only romance but also your career, friendships, and overall outlook. Studies in positive psychology show that gratitude, mindfulness, and value-oriented living led to greater life satisfaction. Precisely the attitudes Stoicism fosters. Imagine meeting someone attractive. Instead of chasing, you acknowledge your interest calmly, engage sincerely, and let the connection unfold without force. If they respond positively, wonderful. If not, you remain whole. This perspective spares you from emotional turmoil and often leads to better outcomes. Practicing this approach transforms your entire attitude toward relationships, making them less about chasing and more about building shared meaning. Stoicism acknowledges our social nature, but encourages wisdom in seeking companionship. By harnessing reason and virtue, rather than being led by fear or insecurity, you form healthier, more stable, and more fulfilling bonds. Marcus Aurelius' teachings endure because they address universal human challenges. The urge to chase is timeless, as is the suffering it causes. His warning is a reminder that true strength lies in mastering oneself. Applying this wisdom frees you from frantic pursuit, allowing love to arise naturally. As you embrace these lessons, you navigate modern dating with grace. You trust your worth, invest in your character, and stand apart from the anxious crowd. Others notice your calm confidence, and you find connections based on respect rather than need. This journey requires practice. Some days you may still feel the urge to chase. On those days, return to Aurelius' words and remember that no external condition can define your worth. Over time, this mindset reshapes your relationships and your life. Embrace the Stoic path and discover the power that comes from not chasing what should come naturally. If you find these insights meaningful, engage further. Share your experiences, subscribe for more content, and become part of a community dedicated to living wisely, loving deeply, and thriving in a world often driven by shallow pursuits.